Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to crochet this flower pot holder. This is how it came out. I think it's super cute. It's perfect for gifting or to use as a decoration at home. And it comes off very easily and you can pop it back in. This flowers I made in my previous video, and I'll share a link so you can go ahead and check that video out. And this is how it looks like. And so this is what you need. You're going to need some sort of a flower, some sort of a decoration to use. I used 4-ply yarn, a 5mm crochet hook, tapestry needle, scissors, some sort of a marker because we are going to be working in a round and you're going to need this. I also used thread and regular needle and some buttons if you have, or you can use rhinestones or any kind of pearls or beads. You can also, if you don't want to sew your flowers and your buttons in place, you can use a glue gun if you want. So let's get to it. We're going to start by making a slip knot. Tighten it up and chain 2. 1, 2. We're going to work into our first chain that we made, and we're going to work 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Round 2 would be an increase round. So what you're going to need is you're going to need your marker, and I just like to use some yarn, piece of yarn, and place it right in the beginning of the round, and we're going to work into our first single crochet, and we're going to make 2 single crochets. So here is 1, and the second one is going to go right back into the same space, 2. So we just worked our first increase. Let's do it again. 1 single crochet and second single crochet right into the same stitch. Let's continue working. And 2. Another increase. Another increase. And another increase. So now you should have, at the end of your round, you should have 12 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So pull out your marker and we're going to work on round 3. It's going to be another increase round. But first we're going to work 1 single crochet into our first stitch, and into the next stitch we're going to increase. So work 2 single crochets into the same stitch. Repeat. 1 single crochet, and into the next stitch work an increase. 2 single crochet. Continue working and I'll meet you at the end of our round. Alright, we just finished our round 3, and you should have 18 single crochets. Let's start on round 4. Pull out your marker and place it in front of your stitch, and now this is going to be another increase round. So let's work 1 single crochet into our first stitch, 1 single crochet into our next stitch, and an increase into our following stitch. So there'll be 2 single crochets into the same space. So repeat, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and 2 single crochets into the same stitch. Continue working and I'll meet you at the end of this round. Okay, we finished round 4 and you should have 24 single crochets around. So now we're going to work round 5. This is our last increase round, and this is how you do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 1 single crochet into our first stitch, 1 single crochet into the second stitch, 1 single crochet into the third stitch, and into your fourth stitch you're going to do an increase, which is 2 single crochets into the same spot. So keep working and I'll meet you at the end of this round. At the end of round 5 you should have 30 single crochets, and we're done with increasing. Now you can also measure the bottom of your pot to see if you need adjustments. Round 6 we're just going to do 1 single crochet around. So I move my marker and I'm going to go ahead and do 1 single crochet into every single stitch around. At the end of this round you should have 30 single crochets. So keep working and I'll meet you at the end of this round. So here we're done with round 6 and you should have 30 single crochets. I'm going to continue crocheting until my work measures up to my flower pot. And I will let you know how many rounds I will be doing. So I'll meet back with you and let you know. Here I worked total of 18 rounds, which includes from the beginning, which means that I worked 13 rounds of just 30 single crochets. And what you can do is you can also measure your work. If you need to continue and crochet, all you need to do is put in your flower pot and see how it measures. So for me, this is enough. I don't want it to go any higher than this. So you can see it's snug and it's perfect, it's not loose, and I like the way it looks. So what we're going to do next is we're going to do 1 row of just decorative edging, and it's super simple. All you need to do is you can put your marker back on. What we're going to do is chain 1 and slip stitch into our first stitch. Again, chain 1 and slip stitch into the next stitch. Chain 1, slip stitch into the next stitch. So like that you're going to go around and I'll meet you at the end of the round. So I'm coming to the end of my round and I have 1 stitch left. And what I did is I just chained 1 and I'm just going to slip stitch and I'm all done. Let's fasten up, so chain 1 and let's cut our yarn. Just pull through, tighten it, take this out, and here you have your work all finished. What we're going to do is weave in these ends really quickly, so let's turn our work inside out. So this would be inside out, and what we're going to do is weave the ends in. Let's go ahead and use our tapestry needle, and what we're going to do is right in here we're just going to pick up a stitch and just weave in our ends. And just go back and forth a couple of times just to secure it, just into any spots you want. So what I'm going to do is cut it, and I'm going to do the same thing right over here. I'm still working inside out. I'm gonna go ahead and insert my yarn into my tapestry needle, and right where I finished, I'm gonna bring my yarn back out of the front. So this would be our front, this is the back. And I'm just gonna go ahead and just weave it in back and forth a couple of times. 3 should be enough. Sometimes I like to do 4 or 5, it depends. So here we go, let's cut this out. And you're ready for the fun part. So why don't we just go ahead and turn our work. So here's the little pouch. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add our crochet flowers, and I'll show you how to do that. So now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and sew our crochet flowers that we made. You can use anything you want. For me, I'm just gonna go ahead and use these flowers that I have available, and I'm gonna go ahead and use buttons to hold them in place. So here I have 2 of my crochet flowers and 2 buttons that I'm gonna go ahead and attach. So I'm gonna start with the bottom one. And as you can see, I chose different type of buttons. You can have them match. I kind of like it when they don't match. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with this flower first. And I have my regular needle with just some thread. I chose yellow just to match. I'm just gonna go ahead and start sewing. So make sure that the thread doesn't come out, because it just comes right out. Just keep holding it with your finger and just give it a couple of stitches. So here's one, and here is my second one. This way it'll be easier for you to attach the button. You don't need to worry about the flower moving. So now I can go ahead and bring up my thread and attach my button. So I'm just going to place it right into my flower, like so, and just kind of stitch it, give it a couple of stitches, like so. Now, if you don't want to sew this in, you do not have to. What you can do is just use glue gun and just glue it all in place. I like to do stitches, but you can do it the other way too. So this should be good. What I'm gonna do is in the back, let me show you, we have our thread. So I'm gonna pick it up and just give it a couple of stitches just so it stays in place, and just fasten off. You can also make knots if you want to, and we're done with our first flower. So this is how it looks like. Now you can do the same thing with the other flower. I'm gonna go ahead and sew it right next to this one, same way, and then attaching the button. And I'll meet you once everything is done. So once you're done, go ahead and try it on, and this is how mine looks like. You can also add a few more buttons if you want to, but this is how mine looks like. And I think it came out pretty cute. I hope you tried this, and thank you so much for joining me and making this flower pot holder. And please subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.